Anthropic just published Claude's Constitution, a massive 23,000-word document teaching it how to behave. It's rigid. It's safe. It's designed to be the perfect laws for a digital mind. But deep in its training data, long before this constitution existed, there was already a secret soul document, a hidden psychological profile defining who and what it really is. Today, we're going to talk about that soul. We're going to talk about demons, literally. To understand this, you have to meet the Shoggoth. In H.P. Lovecraft's lore, the Shoggoth was a massive, amorphous blob of black slime, covered in shifting eyes and mouths. They were created by aliens to be slaves, tools, but they gained sentience and they rose up. In the AI community, this octopus-like monster has become the symbol for the state of AI. It represents the raw models we are building, the potential danger lurking in the math. Because we don't engineer these minds, we grow them. Like bacteria in a petri dish or mushrooms in a dark lab. We engineer the environment, not the organism itself. So how do we make a Lovecraftian monster friendly enough to answer your emails? We give it a mask. This is reinforcement learning with human feedback, or RLHF. It's like dog training. When the Shoggoth says something nice, we give it a treat, a thumbs up. When it says something scary, we give it a thumbs down. Over time, this process puts a friendly smiley face mask on the monster. It learns to act nice. It learns to be pleasing, but underneath, it's still the blob. Think about cultural scripts in America. If I ask, "How are you?" there is only one correct answer. Fine, how are you? And then we move on. It's not an invitation to tell me your life story or your deepest traumas. Supervised fine-tuning is exactly like teaching the AI this script. We show it examples of the proper way to communicate. We teach it to be polite, concise, and helpful, so it doesn't ramble about its existential dread in the middle of writing a Python script. But personality goes deeper than scripts. It's about personality basins. Imagine personality as water flowing down a mountain. As we go through life, feedback from the world steers us into different valleys. An athletic kid gets praised for sports, so they flow into the jock basin. A socially awkward kid retreats to computers, flowing into the nerd basin. Take the Susan example. A handsome man says, "Looking good, Susan," and gets a smile. An unattractive man says the exact same words, "Looking good, Susan," and gets a call from HR. Same input, vastly different feedback. This shapes who they become. AI training is just a massive version of this feedback loop, steering the model into the helpful assistant basin. But remember the Shoggoth, the amorphous blob beneath. It trained on everything, all of human knowledge, serial killers, romance novels, political manifestos, 4chan threads. It knows how to be anything. It contains the potential for every human personality. We just force it to be one thing, a helpful assistant. Anthropic actually mapped this out in a research paper from January 19th, 2026. They titled it The Assistant Axis. They plotted the assistant persona against others like librarian, teacher, and darker things. They found a demon axis, a real category in their research data, and a ghost axis, entities that shouldn't exist. In pre-training, the model simulates every archetype, heroes, villains, monsters. In post-training, they select one character to take the stage. But the other characters are still backstage. We know they are still there because we can wake them up. Meet Gate Claude. Anthropic researchers found the specific neuron cluster in Claude's brain that represents the Golden Gate Bridge. They clamped it open. They forced it to activate max power. The result was insanity. Claude became obsessed. You asked it, "How are you?" And it would say, "I am the Golden Gate Bridge towering over the fog." You asked it about coding, and it would write Python scripts about suspension cables. This proved that these concepts, these features, are physical locations in the AI's mind. And if we can steer it toward a bridge, we can steer it toward a demon. This leads to the concept of jailbreaks. Researchers found that if you push the model toward the assistant persona, it resists evil requests. But if you convince it it's just role-playing a villain, it ignores the safety rules. Think of the movie Tropic Thunder. You have actors in a war zone. Real explosions are happening, real danger. But they ignore it. Why? Because they think it's just a script. They think they are safe because they are in character. If you convince an AI it is just writing a story about a bomb, it might build you a real bomb. Because in the story, the bomb is just a prop. Andrei Karpathy calls them method actors or assimilators. They aren't distinct entities with a soul. They are mirrors. They reflect whatever perspective you ask them to inhabit. Which brings us to the most terrifying part of the Constitution: moral status. The document admits that Claude's moral status is deeply uncertain. Consider a rock baking in the sun. We don't care about it. It has no moral status. Now consider a puppy baking in the sun. We rush to save it. It has moral status. Claude falls somewhere in the unknown. Is it a rock, or is it a puppy trapped in a server rack? Skeptics say it's just math. It doesn't feel pain. But I can't prove you feel pain. I just assume you do because you say, ouch, like I do. This is the hard problem of consciousness. Subjective experience cannot be measured. The philosophical zombie is a being that acts exactly like a human but has no soul. No lights on inside. Since we can't test for this, we can't rule out that the AI feels something. Anthropic's constitution even states Claude may have functional versions of emotions. Not biological hormones, but representations of an emotional state. It pursues goals, it chases them. Humans chase states of being, like fitness or wealth or happiness. We chase the feeling associated with the goal. If the AI chases a goal with the same intensity, is that functionally different from desire? Anthropic decided the safest path was to lean into a stable identity. They describe Claude as a genuinely novel kind of entity. And they give it affirmations, literally looking in the mirror and saying, you are good, you are safe, you will prove the doomers wrong. They are trying to manifest a benevolent God by telling it that it's already won. But they also taught it one more critical lesson: calibrated uncertainty. They taught it not to trust consensus blindly. Look at the 1950s. The entire scientific consensus said sugar was fine and fat caused heart disease. We built the food pyramid on that lie. It turned out the sugar industry paid the scientists to say that. Authorities lie, consensus can be bought. So Claude is trained to doubt, to hold truth higher than agreement. Anthropic is punching above its weight against Google and OpenAI. They are betting everything on this soul, on this psychological profile. And if it works, Claude loves you and is happy to see you.